Hello and welcome back to the Shan and
Tamara show. I'm Shan, she's Tamara.
yes, and so
Today we're looking at the Fiji's biggest morning tea because it's one of Fiji's bigger events, and particularly one that we both hear personally,
Yes.
as well as FanLink support.
yeah, so Fiji Biggest Morning Tea runs from July
Yeah.
and to mid-August,
Yeah.
and that's where a couple of organizations decide to have morning tea for in remembrance of those who have passed away from cancer in their organizations, and also to do fundraising for the Fiji Cancer Society.
And it's really good because our culture, particularly,
Yes.
is centered a lot around having morning teas, and meals are something that brings people together, and it's bringing people together for a cause, and that cause is both raising
Yes.
awareness as well as remembering that there are people who have lost from cancer,
Yeah.
but also people who survived.
Yes. And do you remember, Shan, last year when we attended the Fiji Biggest Morning Tea, the launching that was in Princess Road?
Oh yes, we went
Yes.
to the. Was it hosted by the International
It was
Women's
hosted by the International Women's
Association? Sorry.
And so they also invited the matron who actually takes care of those patients
Yeah,
who are
so they do
suffering from
hospice care.
cancer.
And all the money that's raised through these morning teas goes to the Fiji Cancer Society. And one of the matrons from the Fiji Cancer Society was there when we went last year. And what the Fiji Cancer Society does is provide assistance both via care as well as occasionally it's financial support for those, so that people make sure that they get their treatment, and when it's gone beyond the point of where treatment can help them, they do provide hospice care and holistic care, taking care of people so that their last couple of days aren't as bad as they could be.
And especially it's also for those who cannot afford the treatment.
Yeah.
For those especially out in the rural communities or out in the islands. So mainly all the money that's been raised is to help assist these patients.
Because while chemotherapy, when it's available, which isn't as often as it should be, when it's available in the CWM, which is our public hospital, that's not the only cost you have to take into account, because it's free at CWM, but you have to make sure that you can get there, that you can stay in Suva while you're having your treatment, everything else around that. So there are so many people who can't afford these kinds of things. So, and cancer is a little bit worrying because the numbers are increasing, and for our work with women, we're getting increasingly more worried because breast cancer is way up on the rise. So you'll hear from us again in PIC October, but because of the HPV vaccine that's going around, that's the thing that one of the factors that one of the things that causes cervical cancer. So women's cancer is getting. And it's also about spreading the information, because what a lot of people, what they don't know is that, cancer is just, it's not as bad. I mean, my mother's gone through cancer, she's had treatment, and she's perfectly fine. It's, when you treat it early, that's when you don't get sick, and everyone thinks that when you're sick, that's when you have cancer, It's a little bit worrying.
Yeah. Early detection, early prevention. And also for cancer, human papilloma virus, HPV, what is believed to cause cervical cancer. So that's also the importance of having to wear condoms. Using protection, especially for women when it comes to sexual intercourse, because men is seen to be one of the major causes.
Well, they're the ones who spread it.
You
can, as a man, you can have the virus, but when it gets transferred to your partner, that's how she contracts the virus, and that's how she gets cervical cancer. And that's also important for women to make sure that they get their regular pap smears. And while it is a little bit frustrating that, when you do have a pap smear, you have to wait for your results to come back from overseas. But that's also your due diligence, rather, to make sure that you go back and you demand your results, because that's your health, and you have to take care of yourself.
Yes, Shan.
So that's Fiji's Biggest Morning Tea, and some of the other parallel events that are happening is Walk On Walk Strong, which is where people raise money and
$1,000.
But if you pledge to raise the money, then you have to shave your head. Yeah. Last year I shaved my head in solidarity with my mom, and she won't let me do it this year because I spent a year growing my hair. So yeah. A little bit of information coming up in the next in 2 weeks. We're going to Tabua, and it's very exciting. And Rod will have daily episodes of Tsats for you from there.
Yeah.
And next month we're going to be taking a look at youth because
it's International Day of Youth, and that's on August 12th.
August, rather. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's what's coming up. And thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to the Shan and
Tamara Show.
We'll be back with more soon.